What's your favorite war movie? Or do
Oh
you want to
boy.
do you want to like dive into that a little later?
Oh, that is a deep dive right there.
Because it's such a huge genre. It's such like a massive corner of cinema. Like
It really is.
there's always a war movie.
I mean, this is a heavy intro to start this episode, to say the least. Talking about favorite war movies.
Yeah, what's your favorite movie to watch where a bunch of like young boys go and get murdered on beaches? What's your favorite one of those?
Oh boy, it's so appetizing. I really Braveheart's a big one.
Wow, Braveheart. Okay.
I really was a fan of the first like chunk of Gladiator, the war segments.
Oh, see,
But
I think that that's more of a sports movie.
yeah, I would definitely want to include it in the war movies. I just liked, I don't know, I thought
I mean,
those,
the beginning. Ugh, I love Gladiator. Look, I love Gladiator. What
it's
can I say?
amazing.
All
Yeah,
of it's good. The war stuff in the beginning of Gladiator is pretty fucking great.
it's when I think of the war, like that's pretty epic to me. But there's so much. I mean, everyone goes with the mainstays, the Saving Privates. I really liked Hacksaw Ridge a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
Hacksaw's not bad. I think my favorite one's the Thin Red Line, which should come as no surprise to you at all, as being the only Terrence Malick stan on this episode on this podcast.
it's really good.
Love the Thin Red Line.
I'm not even a Terrence Malick like fan like that, but
No, you
that's
kind of hate
that.
him, don't you?
I don't want to use the H word right
Okay,
now, but
okay. Not a fan. How
yeah,
mad are you
not
going to be when
really
I
a
make
fan.
you watch like 10 Terrence Malick movies?
Oh, I'm gonna just
That's going to really test our friendship.
yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna call that the coma part of my life
Yeah,
right there.
exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be fucking fun for me, and you're just gonna be like, I don't know, they like twirled around in a wheat field in this episode. I think it's just, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, it was
This
beautiful.
is 30 seconds of looking at wheat.
Yeah, it's most of his movies are. Yeah.
Oh, here's 30 seconds of a
Um.
cloud.
Yep. Yeah. Some
No,
woman
I will admit
longingly
that the
staring
Thin
at.
Red Line is a masterpiece.
It's
So
incredible.
I'll
Love
say
that
that.
movie. All right. Well, welcome to Film School Dropouts. My name is James. I'm here as always with a British war boy, Brent. How are you?
They don't really say much in this movie.
They don't. No, most of it, most of the emotion comes through in the characters' faces, which, as a listener of a podcast, you can't see. So,
Right.
so thanks
That's
for that.
I tried to convey that to you.
It was good. I hope everyone at home picked up your masterful acting performance.
Sign me up. I'm ready for Hollywood, baby.
Oh my God. Anyways, we're on episode 10 of our Christopher Nolan season. We're talking Dunkirk today. We've only got one more episode left in the season. Almost time to put away Mr. Nolan until his next movie. How are you feeling about Nolan right now?
So at this point, expectations for me were sky high coming off of Interstellar.
For DZ Kirk?
Oh man, I was seeing the photos coming out for this movie beforehand. I was like, this is going to be incredible.
Yeah.
And I was just at this point, he was already my favorite director. I think after Interstellar, it's
You're
safe to
just like,
say.
yeah.
But this is the one where it's like, oh man, it's just
I've got a lot to say. I've got actually a lot of things to say about this movie. Before we get into it, we should do our little movie segment. So I would like to start off this segment of movies that we've watched recently that we got real excited about, because I actually watched one. Actually, I watched a couple really good movies, but the one I want to highlight is a brand new movie, just came out on Netflix. It's an animated movie called The Mitchells versus the Machines, which is one of the worst titles for a movie ever made that is applied to a really, really good movie.
interesting. I have not heard about it.
Yeah, so it comes from this. I think it's produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who did Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I know
And
them.
they, yeah, they're right, exactly. They're a pretty big name right now. They're the two big Sony guys, but they produced it. It is some of the most fun I've had watching a movie in like a really, really long time. The story is just almost Incredibles-esque, except for instead of it being about
Okay.
superheroes, it's about a family. It's just a father,
The Mitchells.
the Mitchells. Yeah, it's a 4-person family, and a robotic uprising kind of happens.
I'm already there.
Yeah, but it's all like, I can't really describe the movie because it's so visual and so like imaginative, but just,
When
I
you
mean,
say animation, are you talking
Mhm.
CG or like
So
classically?
it's, well, it really reminded me of Into the Spider-Verse in that it is
Oh,
a lot harder to pin down than that. They've kind of come up with this cool, it is,
hybrid.
Yes, it is CG. It looks inspired by like more 2D animation. It's a little bit more flat than most CG, but like in a good way, because I really, really love 2D animation. But yeah, I mean, the movie is just like this
Netflix, huh?
Yeah, they just put it out. But like the movie is really, really heartwarming and like emotional. And the entire crux of that emotion comes from the father and the daughter. It's her going off to college and him trying to like connect with her before she leaves, and then they get caught up in the middle of this like robot apocalypse, and it's fucking hysterical. And like I was just like, I like there were a couple times in the movie where I cried, but not because I was like sad or overcome with emotion, but because I was just like so like overjoyed by what I was seeing on screen. Like
Oh,
I was just like
nice.
beholding cinema, like, which actually is a big line from the movie. But yeah, the Mitchells versus the Machines, it's fucking great. I really recommend everyone go watch it. It's
Who directed this guy?
You know what? I don't know. It's his first movie, and he's been working on it for like 5 years. But yeah, I guess the Phil Lord and Chris Miller team saw what he was doing, and yeah, they took it to the finish line for him. It's really good and probably going to like be one of the best animated movies of the year.
They're a pretty powerhouse team. They're turning into.
They really are. Yeah, I mean, they got fired off of Solo, but aside from that, they've got a pretty good track record.
Now, fired off Solo. How are we looking at that? Ugh.
I mean, I don't. Yeah,
That's a blessing, right?
I can't
or
imagine.
They're not the reason for that movie. I mean, I'm going to come out and say I didn't hate Solo.
Oh, I do. I actively dislike that movie. I think that is a very bad movie. But yeah, I don't know how much of that movie is theirs or how much Ron Howard brought to the table. But like, yeah, I mean, they got fired, and then Ron Howard had to come in and like reshoot a lot of the movie. So, well,
if the acting wasn't as good as it was, I probably wouldn't like it. But to me, I thought the acting was pretty darn good all around.
I thought Glover was good.
I thought Glover killed, and I thought the kid they got to play Han was good.
I really like him. I like Alden Ehrenreich. That movie is nothing. That movie is just nothing. It's just like a hot fart that just like passed through my life, and I was like, "What was that?" And then I never had to think about it again.
Well, it's canon.
So. Anyways, Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Right. Star Wars tangent. So since this is Dunkirk, this is a war movie. I kind of was on a little war kick, and I revisited a classic, one of my favorites.
Enemy at the Gates. He's showing me his DVD for Enemy at the Gates.
This is not on camera. The director, I don't know if we're going to cover this director. I looked up his movies. 7 Years in Tibet I don't think we're going to. The name of the director is Jacques Arnaud.
Okay, no, stop. Let's stop for a second here. You are taking a French class, and that's the best you can do.
You know what? I really wish you didn't bring that up, because it should have been a lot better. Yeah. No, just this director. He had one other one, The Name of the Rose. I don't know. I've never seen it. I did see 7 Years in Tibet with Brad Pitt from '97. I didn't like it.
Sure.
So yeah, that's pretty much what he's known for. But this one is called Enemy at the Gates. It's from 2001. This is a great war movie. I bought this one.
I see.
Yeah, it is a buy.
It's a buy. It's a little throwback to our first episode.
A segment that never came back.
Yeah, segment, because we had like 6 different rating segment in the first episode. Let's pare that down a little bit.
It stars Joseph Fiennes, not our boy Rafe.
You know what? Joseph Fiennes has got one of the most punchable faces in.
No, he's not. He's not on your punchable list, is he?
Oh, I mean, I don't dislike him as an actor, but dude, that guy's face makes me want to punch him so fast. So fast.
I feel like everyday face.
Oh, he's just got this long British looking face, and I'm just like, you are such a nerd.
The dude's got both brothers got chops. If you ask me, I think I've always thought both of them could act like crazy. Obviously, this is '97, and I'm buying a Joe movie, if that doesn't, but it's also got Jude Law. Can go wrong with Jude Law, right? Jude Law, Joseph Fiennes, Rachel Weisz. Come on.
Oh well, now I'm sold. Now I'm there. All you're gonna say is give me that Weisz, and I'm there.
Right there.
Put me in
a little
the
bit
Weisz.
Of Bob Hoskins and Ed Harris.
Love Come Bob. On. I mean, that's a good cast. Yeah, I've never seen Enemy at the Gates.
Do yourself a favor and watch it. You'll have a good time, and you'll thank me after.
Okay. What war are we talking here?
Interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. It's World War II, but it's a unique perspective. It's Nazis versus Russia, sniper v sniper.
So just 2 people I definitely want to root for.
You want to root for the cool. Oh yeah, I don't know why he's not on the cover. Ron Perlman's also in this. He's great in it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Love her.
All right, Enemy at the Gates.
Yeah.
That's the movie you're bringing.
Oh, I'm bringing it. Man, you got to watch this movie.
All right, well, I'll add it to the fucking list.
It's absolutely. I mean, Ed Harris is just like plays this Nazi, like super sniper with like gazillion medals on his coat there.
That seems like a role really fit for him.
Yeah, and let me tell you, he nails it.
Yeah, I do love Ed. I love Ed.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
oh yeah, did I mention Rachel Weisz also?
Yeah, you said Vice. Yeah, I told you I want to get put in the Vice.
Yeah.
You mentioned Rachel Weisz is in it. I said I want to get put in the Vice.
Well, no, I had to double down because I know that's your girl. She's up there for you, right?
I absolutely love her. She's very high up there. Yeah, one of my favorites.
I think she's higher up on your list than she is for mine.
Yeah, she's just one of those actresses where, like, if she's in a movie, I'm automatically like, oh, what? Let me. Oh, what do we got going on here? We got a little Vice.
She, I think The Favorite kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Because for me, she was like, but she
fucking rules.
I think was three out of 3 in that movie. Let's be serious.
Oh, you think Emma Stone's better than her in that?
Oh, come on.
Well, I don't. You're saying, oh, come on, as if that's like obvious. Like, get out of here.
I feel The Favorite, man. She was so good in The Favorite.
They were all really good. Stone was my least favorite, but like I fucking loved her in that. That's one of her best performances.
Coleman, Weisz,
no. I go Weisz, Coleman, Nicholas Hoult, Stone. I love Nicholas Hoult in that movie.
Oh, I was going the three leg. I get you. All right, so let's talk Dunkirk.
All right, you ready to go to war?
Where are we going? Dunkirk.
I'm not going back.
There's no hiding from this, son. We have a job to do.
If we go there, we'll die.
We actually knew each other when this movie came out, so that's exciting. We can talk a little bit about that. But this was one of your birthday movies, right? Because he always releases a movie right on your birthday.
This was indeed one of my birthday movies. I want to say birthday movie 2017, right? This came out.
Yep, 2017. Yep. Real good year for movies. Talk me through your like mindset going into Dunkirk as it's coming out. You're in between Interstellar and Dunkirk. Like, let's talk about it.
Expectations are through the roof at this point. To me, he's delivered. He's like on a hot streak.
I mean, yeah, Nolan is kind of inarguably on just like an unending hot streak.
It's just each movie he's bringing something new and exciting. Mm-hmm. My mind was blown after Interstellar. I'm having a ball, and he gives me a movie for my birthday when he makes one. So how can I not love the guy?
That's true.
Because he usually releases one in July. Like usually it's like a week before or after my birthday. So
right, yeah, you always got a nice little present for you every time he makes a movie.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Christopher. Chris, I call him.
But, oh, you guys are close, so you can call him Chris. That's how that works.
Well, Sea Dog, whatever.
Fuck me. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. So for me, Dunkirk, I remember the title getting announced. I remember him saying, or whatever, coming out, he's making a new movie. It's called Dunkirk. That was all. That no one had announced it was going to be, a war movie, which like, I feel like, most people hear Dunkirk and they're probably like, okay, he's making a movie about Dunkirk, but there was no anything. And a couple weeks go by and finally, it starts coming out that he's making a war movie. And I was very excited for Christopher Nolan's war movie. But at the same time, war movies suck because they're about war, and it's like, they're hard and they're, violent and about, the wages of war and, all the cost that goes into it. And like
darkest part of humanity,
it sucks.
It's never a good topic.
So, and I'm not really sure how a Christopher Nolan war movie is going to end up, at this point. I don't know what that means. So stuff starts coming out for it. And we have just gotten past Interstellar and The Dark Knight Rises, both of which are nearly 3 hours long, right? Before that, I mean, Dark Knight was like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
It was still really long.
Inception was really long. Like the dude makes like long movies. So I'm thinking like, all right, we're gonna get a fucking huge war epic.
Epic. I would
Just yeah.
Jinx.
So I'm thinking we're gonna get this huge war epic. It's gonna be 3 hours long. It's gonna be grueling. And then the runtime gets released, and it's like Christopher Nolan is making a 100-minute long war movie. And I'm like, what? What does that even fucking mean? Like, he hasn't made a movie this short since I think Following. I think Following is his second shortest movie after this, or other way around.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, because I mean, Following was 70 minutes long, and this is just a little bit longer than that. And it's a war movie. I just wouldn't expect that from the guy who goes so far to make these big, kind of sprawling, imaginative movies like Interstellar and Dark Knight Rises. So that was like a huge. Wow, I'm really rambling about how I love how short this movie is, but that's kind of where I'm going. Is I fucking love that this movie is just tight as a fucking drum, baby.
So you were excited going into this when hearing that it was 100 minutes. That excited you, or did that worry you a little bit?
No, that just excited me. Do you remember the first trailer for this movie?
I think so. I want to say I probably do. I probably watched it and had my mind blown, and knowing me, I was like instantly trying to forget it.
I'll try to like re-describe to you the first teaser trailer for this movie. It was just a slowly increasing sound of that plane coming, that really high-pitched whine that gets higher pitched and higher pitched louder. But the camera just pointed at all the boys on that pier, and one of them turns and looks
and one
up.
of them looks up. Yeah.
Yep. And
there it
that's
is.
the whole trailer. And I was like, Jesus, what is this movie gonna be? So I remember you went and saw it before me. I had not yet seen it.
I think it actually was. I went on my actual birthday, July 27th.
Wow, what a good gift.
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just remember you coming out of that movie and you were like, Jesus Christ, I hope no old people go see that movie. I hope no one with heart conditions goes and sees that movie, because that thing is intense.
Oh my gosh. Intense is it's if there's one word to describe this movie, is it intense, pulse pounding? Like, what, they're all kind of similar. I would say like palpitation.
Yeah.
Just I worried about my heart.
Yeah. So I just like to wrap up my little story, which I keep talking about forever, but you and I had went and seen War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Was it War?
Well, I think it's War.
I think War was in 2017. You and I had gone and seen War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
And then I had dropped you off at home, and I was like, you know what, dude, I'm just gonna go fucking see Dunkirk. And I dropped you off, and I just went and saw Dunkirk by myself.
Got yourself a little double feature that day.
Again in IMAX, just a double war feature for me that day.
And you didn't do it cheap. You went right to IMAX.
Listen, man, if I can see a movie, here's a little thing about me. If I can see a movie in the like best quality possible, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
As a little side tangent, and I won't get too far into this because we're gonna go into this hardcore when we do an Ang Lee season, but that motherfucker makes the craziest looking movies nowadays. And I searched high and low to find like the highest quality screening of fucking Gemini Man, just because he shot it in a format that like no one could even project. And I was a truck driver at the time. So I was literally like, okay, I'm going to be in Chicago on Wednesday. Am I going to be able to go see this thing in 120 frames per second or not? Like,
wow,
I'll go.
You actually had access.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. If Ang Lee announces he's doing another movie in 120 frames per second tomorrow, and I can only see it in Chicago, I might fucking go to Chicago to see it this time. Like,
wow.
I want to see it, man. I want to see what that shit looks like, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So yeah, so I go and see Dunkirk. I spent a tight 100 minutes in the theater, and I had a fucking blast, man. That movie blew my brains away. I was just so amazed by what he was doing in it, especially coming off of Interstellar, which is, like I said, such a big movie. Like the restraint and like the sparse amount of Nolan that's in this movie is really impressive, I think.
Oh, and I think there's some elements of previous films that come back into this one. Like, for instance, like you always, first and foremost about this movie, it is, to me, his most beautiful film.
This movie looks unbelievable.
The fact that it wasn't nominated for cinematography
Is that true? No, that can't be right.
I don't think it was. All this was sound. All it got was sound.
No, that's not.
nominations.
No. This movie got a lot. This movie got like 8 nominations. This
Oh,
is,
did it?
I think this is Nolan's first time getting nominated for director.
Tell me it got cinematography, because this is a freaking gorgeous.
Yeah. I'm looking it up right now because I'm sure it did, because this movie got, I know it got nominated for score. I know
I just know it didn't win enough, if you ask me.
I kind of fucking agree with you. I've got a couple things to say about like the Nolan-ness of this movie and how it plays into his filmography as a whole. I'm sorry, I'm pulling up the cinematography right now. I'm pretty sure it got nominated. Yeah, it got nominated.
What did it lose to?
It lost to Blade Runner, which was Roger Deakins' first Oscar.
God.
Well, I mean, that was like a career Oscar for him, and that movie does look pretty good. But I gotta agree, like Dunkirk is maybe okay. We'll start here. Is this Nolan's best looking movie?
To me, it is.
Okay, because I fully agree with you.
That's by far my biggest takeaway after watching this. I think this is my 4th time watching it.
Okay.
And the 4th time through, I'm like, this is just a gorgeous freaking movie.
I mean, just to keep in line with what I was talking about, how I love seeing shit in the best quality. I bought this thing on 4K and fucking plugged that into my 4K player and watched this last night. Wow. Like, Hoyte van Hoytema this is his second movie that Hoyte van Hoytema did the cinematography for. He did Interstellar as well. And before that, he had Wally Pfister do all of his cinematography. And all of those movies look great too. Like, I think Wally Pfister is like one of the best DPs out there. But there is just something about the way that Hoyte van Hoytema like will shoot, like just like crystal clear. Like his shit looks so immaculate no matter what he's doing.
Just stunning. Just some of these shots of especially the beach. Like, can't talk enough about that beach. The beach itself is a character. Just that the mole is the mole. That's like kind of where we start out. Actually, I have to talk about where this movie actually starts, because you don't get any credits.
It opens up with like a brief little bit of title cards.
Oh, tiny, like 2.
Yeah.
Like 2 tiny cards. And then boom, you're in this street with these pamphlets floating down from the sky.
And it immediately, this is like the best looking movie you've ever seen. Like the second the movie starts, I want to talk about that scene because I think the way that he kind of starts this first scene of the movie throws you into such like a maelstrom of chaos immediately. And not even because of the violence of this first scene, which the first scene is pretty violent, but as soon as the movie starts, the characters are standing up. They're all in a crouched position in that first scene, and they're in the middle of standing up. Like, we haven't even seen what happened before then to cause them to crouch and like hide. Right, the movie just immediately starts like in the middle of them in action. Like there's nothing.
You don't get any names. You don't get if they're even from the same unit. You just see this group of soldiers looking at this. I think, doesn't one guy grab the pamphlets that are falling? The pamphlets say you are surrounded. Basically, it's German war propaganda telling them like, give up, like you're gonna die.
The entire plot of this movie is the Dunkirk evacuation, which is 400,000 British and French soldiers are stranded on these beaches in Dunkirk in France, and they are surrounded on all sides by Germans, and the British army can't come get them because they're too exposed. So every time they send a ship or whatever, Germans will just fucking blow it out of the water, and they're just blowing them up on the beaches. So it's like the whole movie is about this evacuation, this real life thing that happened. Do you want to like break down each timeline of this movie? I think that'd be the easiest way to like kind of talk about it.
Well, I think this is one of his easier movies to talk about. You have 3 storylines.
Interesting. Okay.
You got three basically, 3 things going on at once.
Sure. So you've got the mole, or the land, the beach. And that storyline takes place over 1 week. And then you've got the sea, which is Mark Rylance and Barry Keoghan. And that storyline takes place over 1 day. And then you've got the air with Tom Hardy, and that storyline takes place in 1 hour. So that storyline's almost in real time. But he keeps cross-cutting between these 3 timelines. And at certain points of the movie, they like start to overlap until you get all 3 of them at the end together.
Can I just talk about how cool this dog fighting is in this movie?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Absolutely.
I know I'm jumping, but Tom Hardy's in a lot of his movies and whatnot. First off, Tom Hardy's eye acting
I
is
mean,
apparent once again, just incredible. Just he might be the best eye actor in the world.
Here's what I think about Tom Hardy. He refuses to act with all of his ability. He's like, no. Tie three hands behind my back. I'll figure it out. Like, he loves a challenge. So, like, this is his second Nolan movie in a row where he's like, throw a fucking mask on me. I'll just do all the emotion through my eyeballs. It's crazy.
Even when he talks, he's just like, he just oozes swag, and he's just the coolest, like, awesome. I just love his character in this. It's not better. I still prefer him as Bane, but he's so cool in this movie, just dogfighting, and the dogfighting is
it really kicks ass. Is that your favorite part of the movie?
The best dogfighting. It's the best dogfighting in film.
Wow, you're putting it up against Star Wars.
A bunch of cockpit views. I don't know. Nolan took me out on the wing. He put me out on the wing. He showed me angles like floating behind.
It's so crazy.
It is the most gorgeous. No, Star Wars didn't show me dogfighting like that.
No, I mean, I think the dogfighting in why are we getting so hung up on dogfighting? Anyways, I think the dogfighting, and for our listeners, we're not talking about like
Michael Vick.
We're not talking about Michael Vick dogfighting. We're talking about airplane dogfighting. No, I think the dogfighting in Rogue One is really good at the end of that movie, but there is just something like, I mean, that's CGI and it looks cool. There is something like almost magical about the action in this movie, especially the plane, like the dogfighting scenes that you're talking about, because homie just strapped like 2 IMAX cameras to like an actual like RAF.
Like, who does that?
Like, exactly. This is the closest. Like, I can't think of another movie that like would do this.
No.
Like, no one. Like, everyone else would just do CGI.
Everyone, name it, Spielberg, Abrams,
They would. Yeah,
everyone is doing CGI except for Nolan. He's like, no, I'm going out. No,
so I think, I mean, he was the right person to make this movie. He's been wanting to make this movie since the 90s.
Yeah, this was another one of his babies.
Yep. And I mean, much like Inception, he was like, let me wait till like you said in that episode, let me level up.
Well, I think he leveled up again, honestly.
Yeah, he really did. God, those fucking Spitfire scenes are so good. But he's obviously wanted to make this for such a long time. I know, I was reading about it. He originally was going to make the movie purely on improv and was not going to write a script at all. And his wife and producer was like, you should probably write a fucking script, dude. So he was like, yeah, you're right. So he wrote a script for it, but the script is only 73 pages long.
Not a lot of dialogue in this movie.
No, not at all. It also got nominated for a screenplay nomination.
It's about quality over quantity.
It really is. And I think I remember that movie, I remember that nomination getting kind of like people were just like jokingly mocking, like, what? There's no words. Why did it get a screenplay? Because like he had to like map all this out. And regardless of the fact that there's not a lot of dialogue, like, it's a fucking good script, man. The way that he like stitched this movie together, just like on a scene to scene basis, it's really impressive.
Definitely makes them count when the characters do speak. They don't speak often, but when they do. We got to talk about, like, what are the characters' names? Are they even named hardly? Like, these are the most, like,
there's some names. We gotta go. I think we do have to go.
What I'm saying? These are like,
absolutely.
This is like stripped down.
That's why I called you a British war boy in the beginning of the episode. Like, none of these characters have fucking names.
He kind of takes like an abstract, like, again, this is, I feel like, another movie where it's something you haven't seen before. He like takes the traditional formula and he like strips it down. He takes only the parts that he wants to make it tense, to hit harder at home.
I think the closest we've gotten to seeing this kind of movie, like, and there are movies out there that are like more visceral and less dialogue based, for sure. I think this movie is a really great pairing with Mad Max Fury Road, which is, again, all about kinetic movement and like, where like,
I like that comp.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and I mean, I think Fury Road is like a much better movie just because it's fucking Fury Road, but this movie's awesome. I do want to go like kind of cover each scene, not scene, but like each part of the movie so that we can, give light to the actual good performances and the really good dialogue that is in the movie. I know there's not much, but there's a couple of really great lines, I think.
All right. Well, so just briefly, as he walks out, we talked about that scene in the alleyway. Gunfire opens up. He's booking it. He flags down the French. He gets through the coolest looking sandbag barricade, and then you open up to this beach shot.
Well, before
and
the
your
beach
jaw
shot,
drops. Your
like,
jaw. Oh,
before the beach shot, like he's running away, and like you don't know who the main character is, and
right.
there's just these unseen Germans, which is another cool part of this movie. You never see the Germans. They're just like there's just this unseen threat throughout the movie. It's really cool. But the Germans just start mowing these guys down, and like one by one, they all drop, and then one kid makes it over the wall, and you're like, all right, I guess this is the main character. Let's go with him. Like, there's nothing else to it.
Yeah, you start your adventure with the last man standing. And
exactly. But you're right. There is that incredible fucking scene where he first like walks out onto the beach.
Well, now you got me thinking, because I do love the fact that, almost every other movie, especially war movies, you'll kind of see a faces. Like, I feel like they try to humanize the villain, the Germans.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You'll see all their faces, whatnot. No, you don't see their faces. This is some monstrous force. But again, as these guys are running through this alley, you hear right off the bat, Nolan's sound is on 10 as these bullets are whizzing by this kid's head. And it's like, oh, and then they're shooting the fence, and he's like, oh, I gotta go. And you're just moving with setting to setting as you're following this kid.
It's super good.
Oh, it's such how do you have the audacity to start a movie with such pulse pounding?
I mean, like another movie you could compare this to is Saving Private Ryan. The first like 20 minutes of Saving Private Ryan are so graphic and like, violent and scary and really choppy. But I think what's cool about this movie is he kind of gets that emotion out of you within like a tenth of the time that it takes Spielberg to do in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah,
I love Saving Private Ryan.
In, like first little action, 15, 17 minutes in, maybe 12. Here, 2 minutes in, there's
immediate, yeah,
bullets whizzing by these guys' heads, and they're just getting picked off one by one. And you know what? We're not going to come back to the subplot, but in the very opening shot, and you see it, the next scene, as a pamphlets, he's trying to use it as toilet paper.
I don't think
this character ever gets to go poo.
I mean, it's a tragedy, really. I mean, we don't see, his storyline takes place over 1 week. So there might be a time in there where he was able to, pinch one off. But yeah, no, like
if it doesn't happen on screen, that's like an off-screen death. It didn't happen.
If the character doesn't shit on screen, Brent doesn't think it ever happened.
And now I feel bad for his bowels,
Okay, well, moving right past this. Let's talk about the entirety of like the mole scenes. I think that'd be a good way to kind of go. So you've got this one British kid. I don't know, his name's like Fionn Whitehead or something like that. Hasn't really been in a movie, and he's essentially the main character of this movie.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you his name because I don't. Like I said, I think they might have said it once or twice, but
right. There's a couple characters whose names you hear, but
for the ladies out there, Harry Styles is in this one.
All right, trust me, we'll talk about Harry Styles.
Does a great job.
I think he's fucking really good in this movie. So homie gets on the beach and immediately finds this one guy like burying someone in the sand. They try to like the frantic energy of this movie mixed with Hans Zimmer just being like, the entire soundtrack is going to be a ticking clock.
Like, so they took the most tense thing from Interstellar, which was like the soundtrack, the clock, and it's the entire movie.
He's like, this is the whole score now.
Like, there is one scene. I felt so bad for my heart.
Yeah, there's like, one scene in this movie where the score actually becomes like a Hans Zimmer sweeping score. Everything else is just like either the score sounds like it's sirens approaching, or the score sounds like time ticking. That's it. It's crazy.
And it's not just like time ticking. It's time ticking accelerating. It's getting faster
and faster and faster. Yes.
And it's like,
that first scene where they pick up the guy on the stretcher and they start running towards the pier, that immediately that quick accelerating ticking starts. Incredible. And then they try to get up on the pier and like
claustrophobic. They're
God.
trying to squeeze through all these guys with the
I
stretcher.
really love that this movie is sort of about like this movie's sort of about how these people had to face this crazy thing with no hope. Like they had no hope of getting out of this thing, but they were all just standing in lines on the beach waiting to hopefully get saved, but realistically just waiting to die. And there's so many scenes like this one where they've got the guy on the stretcher and they're trying to get him down the pier to the boat, where the smallest victory feels like a triumph. When they get like halfway down the pier and there's a huge hole in the pier because a fucking bomb hit it,
so great.
And there's just a plank, and they've got to get over the plank with the stretcher, and it's so
Give
intense.
It a run.
Yeah, give it a run. Yeah, and really quickly they both kind of get over it, and it is really.
Well, they got to go because you hear that. What
I love about this scene is they get over the fucking hole, and immediately everyone else starts cheering. Like,
I love it.
Want
so
a battle. Good. Like they're like, yes, and all they did was get to one side of the pier. And I mean,
little victories.
Exactly. I really love all that stuff.
It shows you how desperate they are for anything positive to happen, because they think it's just so hopeless that this little act of these two guys getting over this hole, everyone's like, I mean, it's like, it's great moment.
It is really good. And then they get on the boat and immediately get kicked off because they're not in that regiment or whatever.
Even before that though, before they pick up the stretcher, because that's when you're off. You start heading down the roller coaster. Good. But even before they're on, you see a gazillion people. It's 300,000 people spread apart, soldiers on this beach, and
400.
400. And the first time you hear the plane going over, and everyone,
oh my God, yeah, we brushed right past the fucking money shot of this movie.
Oh, this has to be the money shot.
There's
a lot of money shots.
So just for you and me and the listeners, I usually put a lot of clips in these podcast episodes. I'll put a clip in the trailer, or like a cool dialogue clip that we're talking about. I'll try and do that for this episode, but mostly this movie is just like horrifying sounds of bombs dropping and like people screaming in agony. So like this might be a clip light episode, but that first scene of all of them on the beach and the approaching German bomber, and that noise just starts to crank up and up and up, and then it cuts to that fucking money shot where God, his name's like Fionn Whitehead. I'm just gonna call him Whitehead.
All the soldiers drop to the ground
because where are they gonna fucking go?
They have nowhere to go. There's no shelter. They're on a beach,
and the main character, like the camera's right on his face, and he's like huddled up on the ground. Sorry, I'm trying to talk into the mic, but he's huddled up on the ground, and way off in the very far distance, you start to see boom, these big explosions on the beach, boom, boom, and they start getting closer and closer and closer, and then you see like the dude who's like 20 yards away, like he just flies up in the air because the bomb hits, and then right before the bombs hit him, it stops.
Yeah, I think
what a fucking scene. I mean, that was like the money shot from the trailer, like, and for him to put that so early in the movie, like. And then for that to be one of the least tense scenes in the movie, like it's crazy. This movie's crazy.
God, you see that guy go flying and just like, brutal.
With this only being 100 minutes long, I'm actually like, now that we're talking about it, I'm not like surprised at all, because he's not worried about like what these characters have been through, what these characters' backstories are. He's not cutting to like boardrooms in Britain where people are like, trying to deliberate to figure out what their next move should be. This is like purely a movie about what these characters are going to do to get through this one thing. So like the fact that it's so short actually makes sense, because he's just he said like, all right, let me take like the best war movie you can imagine and cut out all of the fat and just make it only set pieces.
Yeah. And it worked.
Yeah, I mean, I think when Steven Spielberg made Indiana Jones, that was his deal. He was like, I want to make a movie, but with only the good parts. And it feels like Nolan just like plussed him on this one. He was like, I'll make a war movie, but with only set pieces, and like that's it. And yeah, somehow it's so fucking good.
Yeah, it does feel like trimmed down, but
yeah,
it doesn't take away. It doesn't. It's almost like if you got, like a gem. Every movie's a gem, and a lot of movies are like covered with a lot of like grime.
Okay,
I feel like with like unnecessary stuff.
Sure.
You can always point, And yeah, this does. I feel like
There's
there's nothing that is unnecessary. Everything is needed, and it's like a pure version of a movie. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
yeah.
It really, yeah, that's a good way to put it. It does feel like a fucking pure diamond, like this movie. It's incredible.
Yeah,
All right, so let's cut over to the fucking Mark Rylance in the boat.
Sure. Mark Rylance, how you feel about him?
How do I feel about Mark Rylance? Is that a joke?
Okay. Yeah, no.
Is that a fucking joke?
How do you feel about Mark Rylance's character here?
Well, he's played by Mark Rylance, so I fucking love him, and he's my favorite person in the world.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
I love Mark Rylance.
Yeah, everyone knows how talented he is. So I think when he was announced, everyone was like, "Oh, this will be just another one," right?
I think it is. This movie is sort of like overlooked for its cast because it's such a sparse movie. But like, you've got Mark Rylance, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy,
big,
Barry Keoghan, like
Barry Keoghan. I'm pretty big on him.
Hey man, I love Barry.
I know you're not the biggest MCU guy, but he's got a character coming out in the Eternals movie, and I'm pretty excited.
Oh, is he in the Eternals?
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
Barry Keoghan's playing the bad guy?
And I'm hype.
Fuck yeah, because you know what he's good at is being the bad guy.
Yeah.
We've seen Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Now I'm kind of excited for that movie.
Yeah, I mean, cast are like the good guys alone, but no, he's the Eternal that likes to mess with the humans' minds and almost like
he's the Eternal who likes he's the Eternal who likes to force a grown man to shoot someone in his family in reconciliation for killing his drunk dad in a fucking surgery room.
Oh my gosh.
What a good movie. Oh man.
I think Dunkirk is tense enough for one episode.
Sure, yeah, we don't need to talk about Sacred Deer. Okay, so on this boat, you've got Mark Rylance, and his boat has been requisitioned by the Navy to go and save all these people on the beach because they can't send destroyers out there because they keep getting blown up. But a little fishing boat or a yacht can make it through unharmed, basically.
Basically all the civilians.
It's the civilian fleet is what they call it.
Yeah, because they can't risk the military, so
right.
Civilians like, we'll go help them out.
Well, no, it wasn't voluntary. The Navy was like, we're requisitioning your ships, and Rylance was like, that's cool, you want my ship, you'll have it, but I'm taking it. Like, I'm gonna go out there and do this, which I like says a lot about his character already, that he's like, yes, of course I'll do this, but I'm fucking the one doing it. I'm not letting you take my ship.
We're going into war, George.
Okay, damn it, you beat me to it.
It's such a good line.
Aren't you waiting on the Navy?
They've asked for the Moonstone, they'll have her. And her captain.
And his son. Thanks for the help, George. What are you doing? You do know where we're going? France.
Into war, George.
I'll be useful, sir.
Into war, George is one of the best line readings in this movie.
It's so good.
Oh my god, this movie is, I want to just get this out of the way now. I think though this isn't my favorite Nolan movie, I think this is his best movie. This is like the best he's done, like crafting a movie just from start to finish. So just I want to get that out of the way right now. All of the emotional beats in this storyline with Mark Rylance like hit me so hard, and a lot of it comes from Rylance's line readings and also how strange Barry Keoghan is, but how like good he is at playing all the emotions in this. And then of course you've got Cillian Murphy, who is playing PTSD like no one's ever done before. This is where all of like the emotion
find
of the
his character. So Mark Rylance and his little crew of 3 are going to pick up the soldiers, and
it's Rylance, his son, and then like his son's buddy or whatever.
We're going into war, George.
Oh my god, it's such a good line. I'll be useful, sir.
I'll be useful.
Oh my god, I love him I love George so much.
Yeah,
George is such a good kid. Actually, like that's actually
they stumble across Cillian Murphy's character on like
they find him on a
ship
fucking
bombed.
They find him stranded on like the hull of a ship that's poking out. It's like they found a ghost on the sea. It's such a haunting image of him like huddled up on the one part of the ship that's still sticking up out of the water. Like he was just stranded alone out there.
And the shot of him,
what an image.
They throw the rope and he like kind of like he doesn't take, they try it a second time, he just dives in the water. Just the imagery of he comes up, he's on their ship, he's clearly out of it because
so
his
fucked
crew
up, yeah.
was he's a last survivor of whatever vessel he was on.
Right.
And he's just he's a ghost is a good word because he's definitely shaken to the core. You deal with the ramifications of what happened to him later on.
Oh man, I know. Yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. I think I think I just kind of accidentally hit on like what makes each of these individual timelines so special is you've got all of the scenes on the beach with Harry Styles and fucking Mr. Whitehead or whatever, and Kenneth Branagh, who we haven't mentioned yet, but Kenneth Branagh is like the naval commander on this pier. He's very good in this movie.
He's very good in this movie.
I really like him. But that all of the scenes that are set on the beach are essentially like intense war, like horror scenes, right? I mean, there's that crazy shot of the ship sinking and it's about to get crushed up against the pier, and you see like Harry Styles just barely get pulled out, and then you hear other people getting pressed up against the pier in between the ship when they're dying, like scary.
You hear him screaming, and
there's the really intense scene of them hiding in that little boat, and like the Germans are doing target practice on it.
Yeah, I mean that's that whole segment there where, you know, so how they wound up there, you know, to get there, they're trying to get the stretcher, hop back over there. They hop over the infirmary boat is like, hey, you guys aren't part of this. They get kicked off. The whole mission, everyone's motive on the beach is to get home. Every single soldier. So they were like, oh, hey, here's a wounded guy. Let's try to take him to the boat. We'll hitch a ride.
Sneak on, right?
You know, They were like, hey, you guys aren't part of our crew. Get out of there, you know. So they're back on the beach, and that's when the crushing and all that, and they meet Harry Styles' character and all that, and that's horrendous. So the sound of those guys getting,
it really is.
I don't know why you focused on that.
And I mean, much like in The Dark Knight, like a lot of the violence from this movie is not on screen. It's like implied.
Yeah. There's
one scene that we'll get to in a second that like really freaks me out. But all these scenes on the beach are like horror scenes, essentially. I mean, you've got all the different scenes of them getting on like 3 different boats and all of them like going down and them all almost drowning, and it's all pitch black. Like you don't know what's going on.
They wind up back sitting on the beach
every time they leave the fucking beach,
and they're just sitting there. They're sitting there for so long. This is any shot, including this beach, by the way, is just stunningly beautiful. If we haven't said it enough,
true.
But they're sitting there for so long that there's tons of foam from this beach washing up.
Yeah,
and Harry Styles' character has it like all over his feet, and that shows you how long they've been sitting there.
Yep.
Because and then that's when they see like, what is it, like a little squad of 12 guys go jogging by, maybe 9 guys. Yeah. And they're like, where are you guys going? And that's, we found a boat, you know, and they go.
Right. But they find a boat way at the other end of the beach where the Germans are like right next to that hill right next to them. So they start fucking doing target practice on this boat, and they're all inside getting shot at, and they don't know, like.
Well, that's the thing. They find the boat, but it's beach. So their plan is to wait for the tides to come up in 3 hours. But they don't know it's actually 6 hours.
I've got to say, funniest part of the movie is when Branagh says, well, it's good that I'm Navy and you're Army. And then it immediately cuts to a bunch of Army guys getting the tide wrong.
Yeah.
And that's like the whole crux of that entire scene is them being like, oh, it's supposed to be 3 hours. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, a little bit of levity. No, so all these scenes on the beach are fucking horrifying. All the scenes up in the air with Tom Hardy are just badass. Like that is just badass action hero shit.
Love it. Love, you know, that's why I had to talk about the dog fighting first, because I loved every single moment. I was up in that plane with Tom Hardy and his eyebrows.
And his hot British blonde friend, and also the voice of Michael Caine.
Love it. Was that the voice of Michael Caine?
Yeah, so there's 3 pilots in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Fortis Leader, who's Michael Caine, he's one of the pilots, but you don't ever see him. He just does the voice of like a pilot on their comm. That's Michael Caine. Yeah, he's Fortis Leader.
You knew Nolan was going to slip him in there somewhere.
He got him in there. Yeah, he got him right in there.
Not for long.
No.
Because that pilot dies.
Goes down quick. Yeah. Yeah. So like all of those dogfighting scenes are just kind of like the badass action of the movie.
Yeah.
I fucking really love early on where there's a German pilot who gets behind the blonde dude, Collins, and he says he's on me, and then immediately Tom Hardy gets behind him, and without any sort of like triumph or anything, just dead voice, just goes, I'm on him. Like, there's no
Because
like this guy's just here to do his fucking job. He's not here to be a hero. He's not here to fucking like woo
so
anyone.
cool.
He's just like, I'm on him. Like, no problem. This is what I do every day. I got
this
this.
is they're working right now. This is them at work.
He's at work. He's clocking in. He's going to take down some Germans, and he's clocking out. Well, he doesn't clock out, but so like I think all the air scenes are sort of like Nolan's time to shine as far as like, here's the cool action set pieces I'm going to give you, and then every time you cut back to the boat, that's where like all of the emotion of this movie comes from, is all of the boat scenes between George and Mark Rylance and his son, like and Cillian Murphy. Like that, you get a lot of emotional depth in those scenes.
Yeah, that's a lot of where the heart is.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, I couldn't tell you like my favorite scene in this movie just because like A, it zips by so quick that like you're just like, oh my god, wow, that was fun. And B, every scene is like kind of fucking great.
There's no weakest link to this movie.
Oh man, this movie's good.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
It needs to be said that, because I don't know how much because this is Harry Styles' debut.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about Harry Styles a little bit. My girlfriend is like a massive One Direction fan.
Sure.
And I mean, I saw this like a couple months before I met her, you know, and I had honestly, I never really listened or heard anything from One Direction. You know me, like I don't fucking know anything about pop music. So like him being in this movie, like the first time I saw this movie, I didn't know which one of them was him. You could have pointed at any British person in that movie and been like, that's Harry Styles. And I would have been like, sure, sounds good. And, you know, I told her that we were doing our Dunkirk episode and she's like, oh, that movie's okay. And I'm like, what? You're crazy. The movie's so good. And she's like, I mean, Harry Styles is in it, so he's really great.
Okay,
and I'm like, no, come on. The movie's so good. So like she sat down with me yesterday and watched it, and her sister was with us. And like both of them were like, when's Harry showing up? But at the end of the movie, they were both like, yeah, that movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how much more acting he's going to do. I think he's going to be like a JT or a Jamie Foxx. He's one of those guys. He's
showing up in Olivia Wilde's next movie.
Oh, it's got a huge cast.
Yeah, Florence Pugh. Yeah, like there's
Olivia Wilde's got everyone. Well, because her first one was Booksmart, right? So yeah, the bar is extremely high for this one. Yeah, and expectations are as well. And I think she's going to fulfill it, but I don't know. We'll see.
Anyways, Harry Styles. Real hot little British boy, and he's fucking really good in this movie.
Yeah, he did great.
I wonder. So, I mean, just to sidebar on this really quick. This is a short war movie that has nothing to do with America, that came out in the middle of the summer and made $500 million. Like, war movies don't do this anymore, especially like if you're releasing a war movie, you're releasing at Christmas for like, you know, all the families to go see over Christmas break, for the dads to go take their sons to, whatever, right? Like this is a summer blockbuster.
I don't know. That's like that happens. I don't have a dad, so.
All right. Well, mine lives in New Jersey. I haven't seen him in like 2 years. So, anyways, no. So, like, I mean, 1917 was a Christmas movie last year. You know what I mean? That was a big hit because it was a Christmas movie, and you know, they're kind of dad movies in a way. You know what I mean? They don't get summer. When was the last time like a fucking summer blockbuster was also like a grueling war film? It doesn't happen. You think of summer blockbusters, what do you think of?
I don't know. I get what you're saying.
They're more adult-minded, supposed to be for the holiday, for award season, whatever. But he releases Dunkirk in the middle of fucking summer. It makes $500 million, right? A lot of that is because he's Nolan and the movie's good.
It's Nolan, yeah.
Right,
Everyone's
exactly.
like, I'm going to see the new Nolan movie.
I am kind of curious. I don't know how you would find this metric, but I'm kind of curious how much money came from Harry Styles fans, from One Direction fans.
Oh,
because my girlfriend went and saw it because Harry Styles was in it. I know that there were plenty of people who went and saw it because they were One Direction fans. I'm just wondering how much of this movie.
So the percentage of viewership that went and saw this, you're saying there is a decent slice of that pie, percentage wise, that went solely because they were Harry Styles fans.
Listen, man,
I think you probably might be onto something. Because I know, One Direction was huge.
I mean, that's the kind of, you know, like they had the Beatlemania kind of thing where it's like, you know, packs of roving girls would just chase them through the streets screaming and shit. Like it was that for One Direction. So sure. I'm just wondering, how many of them,
you know, because like how many boyfriends have been like, hey, let's go see this, and the girl what's the movie about? And they're like, oh, I'm not going to see a war movie. But
Oh, Harry
because she had
Styles is in it.
heard that, from like a Facebook or social media,
Yeah.
that Harry, just reading a little headline, Harry Styles in this
I'm just
movie.
saying, I think it might. $500 million is a lot for a fucking war movie in the middle of summer.
Now, was that on just another part of Nolan's genius to boost
So
his...
according to him, and I don't believe this, according to him, he didn't know who Harry Styles was. He just cast him off of an audition.
Lies.
He's a fucking British man who has children. Like,
lies.
He doesn't know who One Direction was. Exactly. I think that's a lie. But
You're not fooling me, Chris.
I also don't think that he's the kind of person to just cast someone as stunt casting to like get more revenue. Like, I don't think that he would like sully his hands that way unless he thought the like person could bring it. Which Harry Styles is good in this movie. I think he's a really good actor.
I definitely think that he vetted him. Like, he's not just going to be like, oh, big name, gonna, for sure. He didn't do that. So yeah, he probably was wowed just like we were by his performance. But at the same time, there was a little piece in the back of it. He's like, yeah, I know who you are.
He's like, I'm going to be bringing a little bit of extra. Because, yeah, how many fucking other, like...
But then again, think about this. Like, if you didn't know anything about Harry Styles, no one knew him, and you just looked at him and be like, yeah, pretty handsome dude. And if he can act,
Sure.
Like, let me try to snag the next Leo. Why not,
Yeah, I get it.
I'm not saying he's the next Leo. Don't misquote me.
You know what? I'm quoting. I'm going to write that down really quick and put that
Harry
in
Styles
our Twitter bio. I mean, hey, you know what? Let's not discount him. I think he's a good actor.
I do think he's good. I think he's the next version of the Timberlake, Jamie Foxx. This is 3.0.
You know what's interesting?
Jamie Foxx was 1.0, JT's 2.0, and this might be Harry Styles' 3.0 as far as the do it all.
I mean, here's the thing about that is Jamie Foxx, comedian, singer, whatever he does movies as well. He does popular movies, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't get too artsy.
Oscar winner.
Yeah, he doesn't get too artsy with his movies though, you know what I mean? And like same with Justin Timberlake. Like the most prestigious Justin Timberlake ever did was doing The Social Network, right? I do think it's really interesting, and it makes me think that Harry Styles is like an interesting guy, that his first ever movie was like a non-named role as like, British war boy number 19. Like, it's interesting that him as like an international superstar was just like, yeah, sure, I don't care. I'll play another soldier in your movie. Like, he has like no ego. Like, what?
That speaks. No, I definitely agree with what you're saying. But again, that speaks to the power of Nolan. Like,
for sure. Yeah, he was like, yeah, let me get in this. Like, let me be any character. And
let me be extra number 4 on the.
It's just interesting. You would think
Christopher Nolan movie.
Most pop stars do the thing where they're like, okay, I'm going to be in a movie. I'm going to be the lead. Like, let me transition into acting, but let me be like the romantic interest or whatever. But I like that fucking Harry Styles is like, no, I don't care. I'll just fucking play this dirty war boy.
I mean, I really liked like Timberlake in the he's Alpha Dog. He wasn't, he took a backseat to like R.I.P. What was his face? You saw Alpha Dog, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, Emile Hirsch was great, and Ben Foster was great. Is Bruce Willis, Sharon Stone? Those are just the parents.
Alpha Dog?
God, yeah. He died. He was in Star Trek. He died. He was good. He was really good.
Leonard Nimoy?
No.
Anton Yelchin.
Yelchin.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Yelchin was the star in Alpha Dog for sure. But I don't know. I bought that movie. Timberlake was excellent in it. Yeah.
I like JT as an actor. Yeah, let's move away from Harry Styles. So I think we've given him plenty of praise.
Because this is his debut, I wanted to touch on a little more and I do think this definitely isn't going to be the last we've seen of him.
No, for sure.
Yeah,
I'd love it if he popped up in more movies because I think he's got. I don't know. I feel like, the reason that Justin Timberlake was so good in movies and probably the reason Harry Styles is going to be good in movies is they were in boy bands. They had to do so much rehearsing and like hitting their marks. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're just good at like learning their shit. So not surprising.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing I want to talk about this movie. It's language accurate. French people speak French.
True.
English people speak English.
Yeah.
You don't get that a lot.
That's very true.
Then again, there are only
There's like one French guy in the movie, and he doesn't speak the whole movie.
I know, but I definitely wanted to point that out because not a lot of if that's not worth bonus points, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's true. Most movies will just like cut through that barrier and just be like, no, fuck it. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about the boat scenes. So you've got Mark Rylance taking off, going to save people. Barry Keoghan is like the friend of Rylance's son, and he's sort of just like nonchalantly jumps on the boat, and I don't think he ever understands exactly the depths of what they're doing, because he's just like, yeah, you guys are going to Dunkirk, and
Give me the line again.
Into war, George.
We're going into war, George.
So good. God, I mean, that one, I could talk about his line delivery there for so long. The sincerity in his face and like the concern that he shows through the like tone of his voice in that one line is so
like,
beautiful.
Mark Rylance's character is like, he knows no one wants to go into war and do this. Like, he looks scared a lot of times.
Yep.
But he just charges ahead.
He has such a heart.
Bravery. And that speaks to like a lot of what these, I don't know. It's just, I feel like he wasn't the only one that didn't want to give up his boat. I feel like there was a lot
that's
of
the beautiful thing is
that,
the whole movie takes place on their boat, but then you get to that beautiful scene where there's tons of other captains, and you got to imagine they had pretty similar journeys. Like, all of these people did the same thing Rylance did. There were so many brave people who went out and did this thing. Like, it's really like that whole scene when the score actually turns into like violins and like you see all the British fleet. It's really like uplifting. I really love it. So they find Cillian Murphy, who is shell shocked as fuck, and they start heading to Dunkirk, and Cillian Murphy's like, don't fucking go to Dunkirk. We're going back to England. I'm not fucking going there. He freaks out and he pushes Barry Keoghan down the stairs. This is the scene that really freaked me out the first time I saw it, and like continues to, because you don't see it. You just see them all like tussling, and then you hear like thump, 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 and you see Barry Keoghan at the bottom of the stairs, like cringing and like moaning with his eyes shut tight. And Cillian Murphy kind of goes off, and he's like, oh fuck, what did I do? And he like sits down and is just in shock. But like the rest of the scenes with Barry Keoghan are so scary, because it's just like the kind of thing where you're like, man, the head is such a dangerous thing to have hurt, because like he just hit his head on the stairs really hard and then slowly lost his vision and then died. Like, you don't really know what happened to him. You know what I mean? Like, they don't get into any specifics. It's just like this scary thing that happens, and it's so like vague, where I'm like, oh fuck, what happened? I don't even know, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it does happen quick, but that shot of him kind of feeling behind his head, and touching it, and then seeing that there's blood on his hand, and you never want to see blood coming from a head wound.
No, it freaks me out. That scene freaks me out so much. And then like a couple scenes later, you get that really awesome like bit of exchange between, I keep forgetting what the kid's name is, George and Rylance's son, where George like tells him like, I've never done anything with my life. I was bad in school. I just wish I could have done something to like maybe get in the local paper. I don't know.
See, Cadet, it's the only thing I've ever done.
It's all right, it's okay. Just have some water.
I told my dad I've done nothing at school. And that I would do something one day. Maybe get in the local paper. Maybe my teachers would see it.
Okay, get some rest. I need you back up on deck as soon as you're able. What?
I can't see.
And then he like fucking dies a scene later. And then that's just rewarded like so handsomely at the end, where like you see the young boy going, he gets him in the paper. It's like,
gets him in the paper.
It's really, really beautiful.
The columnist calls him a hero, and
because he is. I mean, regardless of what he did or didn't do out there, like
he wanted to help.
Exactly.
In the face of such horribleness, in the face of war, I think it speaks. I don't care if you don't do anything. The fact that the effort is what counts, and that's what made him a hero.
Right. Absolutely. And like, you get a little bit more of that later in the movie with Harry Styles, where he's like embarrassed that they had to like get rescued.
I cried. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I cried at that part.
Which the Harry Styles part or the Barry?
No, well, it's because Nolan hit you with the combo right at the end.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's great.
You know the other one.
Which one?
Or are we going to save? We'll talk about that at the end.
Okay, I was gonna say another great Rylance scene is every scene, but
No,
they're all good. But no, there's a really good scene when Collins, the blonde pilot, goes down in the water, and
yeah,
his son is like, I didn't see a chute. Dad, don't go over there. It's too dangerous. I didn't see a chute. He didn't get out. He's dead. And he keeps like pestering his dad. And like Rylance just turns around. And he's like, I hear you, Peter. He might be alive. Maybe. I don't know. We could maybe help him. Like, he's just like so empathetic to like all. And then of course you find out at the end.
He delivers it with like he's scared, but he had like
Mark Rylance is one of the finest actors on the planet. He hasn't been in a lot of movies.
How does he conveys like, oh man, with so few little words, he conveys such depth to his character. Like he's scared. Like, I don't know. It's the bravery is incredible there.
Yeah. I mean, like he wins the Oscar for fucking Bridge of Spies, and what a performance that is. And then, he's in this, he shows up in Ready Player One and somehow like makes that movie watchable. Like he's very good in that movie. I love Mark Rylance so much. And this might be my favorite performance of his. He's so like he's just like bursting with emotion, and he's also trying to keep it all under control at the same time. It's so good. And then of course at the end you find out the reason he cares so much is because he had a son die in the war
early on, like 3 weeks.
Right.
3 weeks into the war, you find out.
Yep. Yeah, he was a pilot, so like that's why he knows about all the fucking pilots and shit. It's so good. Nolan made
I love
such
that
a good
line.
movie.
There's a part where they're on that boat, and I think at this point they've picked up some passengers, and of course anytime you hear the plane coming in and plane's coming in, and he says that line, wait till the last second, wait till he commits to his line.
Yeah, he's got to put his nose down.
Yeah, so cool.
Like he just knows what he's doing, man.
Yep.
So yeah, while this is all going on,
but even you don't know if that's going to work. I mean, it's still a plane coming in versus boat, plane versus boat.
right. Yeah, like he has to dodge a plane.
Sure,
it's
yeah.
So
let me move this yard.
Oh my god. So yeah, while this is all going on, like the fucking boys on the beach are just like, they just keep getting in boats and the boats keep sinking. Like it happens like 3 times.
Well, the first one when because they waited. The tide starts coming in. And now there's 4 holes because they were shooting. They find out the Germans were just doing target practice. Oh, that's where any stress I was dealing with this movie kind of went into overdrive when the tide is now. This is what they wanted. They wanted the tide. They wanted to ride this boat out with the tide. But now they can't do that anymore because the water is filling up the boat from the target practice.
Right.
So now they're out. They actually do float out. They're floating as the boat. They got to bail.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily,
there's that really scary scene of the French guy. He can't make it out and he drowns, and all you see is his hand floating from the darkness. Haunting, like very haunting.
Because you got the Hans Zimmer score in the background. You think this guy's gonna at the last second gonna get free.
Nope.
No, he went down with the ship there.
He fucking died. So yeah, Tom Hardy's buddy goes down, and that's another fucking grueling scene where he lands the ships or the boat. Fuck me. He lands the plane safely in the water, and he can't open the hatch to get out, and the water's just quickly filling up his compartment, his cockpit.
That came right after the drowning we just saw.
So it's just like get fucked and like no, it's actually cross-cutting between the two.
So you don't know
the ship is filling up with water at the same time that his cockpit is filling up with water. And
so
it's like, cool. This is great, and I love this. It's so fucking stressful.
It's like not one. It's like how many in any movie when you see someone drown, it's never good. You're always got anxiety through the roof.
It sucks.
Nolan's like, I'm going to show you 2.
Yeah, at least. And then finally, like Rylance's boat saves Collins, pulls him on the boat,
breaks open his little cockpit there, pulls him aboard.
And then, I mean, I guess the other thing to talk about with Hardy is his gas running out and him still just being like, fuck it, I got this.
Well, yeah. So the very first scene, pretty much, that you meet Tom Hardy's characters in the plane,
right?
He takes like just a rando bullet and his gauge is gone. And he says another badass line where he's like, oh, I think it's just the gauge. He just took a bullet into his plane. He's like, I'm going to take a chance and say it's just a gauge. Well, what
Right.
gauge is it? Oh, it's the fuel gauge.
Right. So you have no idea how much fuel you have. He's just
It's
like guessing.
arguably
I'm
the
like,
most important gauge.
"Yeah, you might need to know how much fuel you have, bud."
So he goes the entire movie not knowing how much gas he has.
Right. And just absolutely decimating everyone who gets near him. Like he just fucking Poe Damerons everyone in sight. It's so good. But I really love the end when he runs out of gas and the propeller stops moving and the plane goes dead silent and he's just coasting across the beach. He's just like coasting over the shoreline and all the British soldiers are looking up at him. It looks like a ghost just like floating across. He looks like a ghost plane just floating across the shoreline.
I love that shot.
Oh, that shot is so good.
Oh my gosh!
And
where
then
the propeller's not moving and he is going, and you actually see a good amount of the actual city.
Yeah, you do. You see a lot of Dunkirk
bombed in the background, which I like seeing that because you don't really see the city a whole lot.
No, you don't. Well, like going on with that scene is like you see him go by, and then you see Kenneth Branagh, and he's like all excited that like, oh, we're gonna get off, and then you hear the German bomber coming. And it pushes really close into Branagh's face, and he just kind of looks down and like accepts that he's about to get bombed again. And then the fucking German plane goes down, and they all see Hardy just like float by after shooting the last German plane down, and they're all cheering him on. You know, like he just fucking no gas, and it's just like I got you guys, don't worry about it. Like still taking care of business. It is the coolest. And
like,
then
he's just drifting and floating. Like another thing, any movie that you've ever seen, when the plane runs out of gas, like it's panic time. Everyone's scrambling to get off, like parachutes.
He's just cool as a fucking cucumber.
He's like, no, I got another 10 minutes up here floating.
It's so good.
Just let me.
He's like, I don't clock out for another half hour, man. I gotta.
Right. And then you get this really tense, more tenseness of. So the plane's getting lower and lower and lower, and he's coming down on this beach, and it's like, oh, it's sand, it's not too bad. But he starts pumping.
He can't get the landing gear down.
So he starts manually pumping this landing gear, and there's this great shot of the plane coming in, and you see these wheels slowly opening.
Oh, it's crazy.
Opening inches, feet above the ground.
Yep.
And then just as they just get open enough for the wheels.
So they shot that. That was again, like most of the scenes of this, they shot that practically. Like they had like a real pilot, like piloting like a fucking actual plane from some museum, and they had to shoot it within 45 minutes because of the tide. They had like 45 minutes to get that shot right. God damn, dude, that's crazy. What a movie this is. So yeah, he ends up like landing and then immediately gets caught by Germans. Like that's the end of his story.
Well, he burns his plane, which
he does. Yeah, he throws the flare gun in the plane.
Can't let the Germans get a hold of the equipment.
No. So that's the end of his story. It's great. Rylance's boat is able to save like a ton of people from this like ship that's going down and like oil spilling into the ocean.
Oh yeah, there's a few times that you see the oil comes into play with all these ships going down.
Yep. Yeah, you just see like a big black part of the ocean,
and of course the worst thing happens is you have a bunch of these sailors basically swimming in it, and then the plane goes down in it, so it ignites all this. So you have these guys just swimming in fire, and it's
there's the one scene it keeps cutting back to the one kid who goes under the water,
trying to stay under as long as possible.
And he can't, and then he just has to come back up, and as soon as he comes through the water, he's just burst into
roasted.
Flames. Sucks, dude. It sucks. So they end up saving fucking Harry Styles and Finn Whitehead.
Can I ask why he didn't swim?
No, you can't. We're gonna move past that
because I just noticed he went under and then he stayed there.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked like it was hard to swim through the oil, like because it was so thick. You know, they were talking about how he couldn't get his boat too close to the oil because it probably would fuck up his propellers. So maybe it was just like hard for him. I don't know. If you want to, you know what, Brent, if you want to judge this war hero and say that he didn't do his job right, that's on you. Okay, Mark Wahlberg.
Well, I'm just wondering, since oil tends to it floats on the surface of waters, right? That's the big thing with oil.
I don't know. You're the one going to college. You tell me.
He went under the oil and then you swim away. I feel like that those two things go hand in hand. Then again, who am I to judge this soldier and what he's been through? He might have been shocked.
So we've got it on record that you think that he was a bad soldier. Got it.
No, he might have been shell shocked, like Cillian Murphy just might
Well,
have been fried.
that's a good segue because I want to talk about Cillian Murphy again.
Mental synapses might not be firing how they should.
But Cillian Murphy has killed Barry Keoghan on accident, and like it's really sad. And right at the end, when all the boys are getting on the boat, and Mark Rylance is saving,
Well, they're
dozens.
lying to him after he's.
Well, that's the scene I want. That's the scene I fucking love. Is he says, "Is he going to be okay?"
Yeah, and he says he'll be fine.
He'll be fine. And then the best part of that scene is the son looks over at Mark Rylance, and Mark Rylance just gives him an approving nod, like that was the right thing to do. Like Cillian Murphy is so far gone at this point that he thinks that, like, I mean, Harry Styles just said, like, he's dead, mate. Like, he's dead. And Cillian Murphy was like, is he okay? Like, he's so far gone. So it was just like the right thing to do to lie to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just don't know with someone in that fragile state of mind, like if they can do him more damage.
Exactly. Yeah. I fucking love this movie. This movie's so good.
It's great flick.
Like I said earlier, I do think this is probably this is the movie that Nolan finally got a Best Director nomination for. And even he probably should have gotten that nomination earlier for something else because he's fucking great at directing movies, but whatever. This is a great nomination. And I do think this might be his like best looking and best directed and just best put together movie out of all of his films. And I really like at this point in his career, like when he announced he was doing a war movie, I really was excited for him because like he's kind of hitting a lot of different genres and almost like checking off boxes that are like exciting to have like a director who's done all these things. Like it's cool to have a director who's done like a superhero trilogy, a crime thriller, like a noir. He's done a space movie. He's done a war movie.
Checking off the boxes, he's nailing the boxes at this point.
Right. Yeah. I mean, only thing, like, I don't know if we'll ever get this, but like, I don't know, maybe one day we'll get like a Nolan comedy or a Nolan romance or a Nolan musical, and like he could just like have done all of them. But like, I doubt.
Something tells me we're not gonna get a Nolan comedy.
Yeah, no, he's not very funny. It'd be fucking crazy though. Could you imagine Nolan? He's like, the cast of my next movie is Seth Rogen, Jason Segel, Linda Cardellini. Like he just
takes the frat pack.
Michael Caine,
Will Ferrell.
Exactly right. Yes, I don't know. It's just like at this point in his career, when you've got Dunkirk on the fucking books, his filmography is just kind of nice to look at as like a list of movies,
Well, I think after this one,
yeah,
you kind of get where is he going next?
Well,
and then you find out where he goes.
And I'm very excited to revisit it, but we'll, I don't know. Tenet's a little bit of I don't know about that.
There was one thing I want to say. He does a lot of, he with his camera, he keeps cutting back and forth between the widescreen and the full screen.
The IMAX and the 7mm, yeah.
Did you like that?
Well, I mean, it's hard to shoot an entire fucking movie in IMAX. Like, you're going to have to pick and choose, like, what scenes you're going to have with that full, to have that aspect ratio change. It happens in some movies, It's weirdly, like, more apparent in this movie somehow. I don't know why. Like, it happens in all of his movies. Like, it happens in Interstellar. It happens in The Dark Knight. Like, he has movies where, like, he'll shoot in IMAX for some of the scenes, and then he'll go back to shooting on, like, regular film stock, and when you're watching it, you don't notice it as much, but for some reason in Dunkirk, it is a little bit more jarring when it switches the aspect.
It's extremely jarring. That's actually my biggest beef with the film.
I mean, yeah, it would have been cool if he had just done the whole fucking thing on IMAX. But, it was pretty close.
Right. It really was. I think because a lot of the shots were just like setting pieces, like beautiful landscapes.
Yeah.
And like he would cut back to this wide open sky or whatnot.
Man, those sky scenes are incredible.
So then you would notice the widescreen a little more when it was.
Yeah, that's true. It happens.
Because it was a lot of it was in the sky.
And a lot of this movie is the same color. Like it's very stark white, kind of gray.
Grayscale.
So, yeah, when it cuts from one aspect ratio to the other, it is sort of a little bit more glaring than maybe some of the other movies. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't really have much else to say about Dunkirk. I really, really like this movie. It really caught me off guard this time how like emotional it is. Because this is probably my third time watching it all the way through, and like I've thought of this movie as very technical and very like very sparse and like intense, but like all of those emotional beats on the boat, I was like really like getting caught up with those this time.
Yeah, I mean, anytime. I mean, Mark Rylance, come on.
God, I said it when we watched it last night. I said to my girlfriend, I fucking wish Mark Rylance would approvingly nod at something that I did like he did at the end of this movie. It would be awesome.
Oh yeah. So you get that double pow at the end. Harry Styles is thinking they're all going to get spit at by the people, cowards. I think this is the same sentiment reflected by a lot of the soldiers that are getting evacuated. It's a sense of failure, like they didn't get their mission done. Like, the Nazis are the evilest people in the world, and they lost to them. It's
sure.
So they're expected to.
They're ashamed.
Yeah, and they're expected to be shamed by the people.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the first thing that happens when they get back? They're home. They're back. They finally made it. They're on the train.
They're welcomed back. Yeah,
they're welcomed back as heroes for trying. That you get that beer clinging on the glass. Awesome. That's when that's when the tears came for me.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
One final Rylance scene that, like, again, just with one line, he just eviscerates me. You've got Collins, the Air Force pilot, and they're all back walking towards the trains. And one of those soldiers is like, "Where were you, mate?" Like talking to the fucking airport, And then, of course, Rylance comes in at the last second. And he goes, "They know where you were," and like points at the other guys who he fucking helped save. Fucking great stuff.
Yeah, it's really
such good stuff.
Well, that's the thing. War is the darkest topic that humans can possibly talk about, right? I mean, I think it's
pretty fucked up. Yeah,
it has to be number one. Probably.
I hate war so much.
So. But like everything in humanity, you do get there are positives, and that's heroes.
Yeah,
because war makes heroes. You do get people.
I have very complicated feelings about this, but generally, yes, I kind of know what you're talking about.
Well, because these people have no business stepping up to save others. Because,
we're getting into a different podcast, but sure. I guess in the world of movies, yes, I know what you mean. Yes,
yeah.
Okay.
Moral compass, yeah. If you have a sound moral compass, yeah, everyone should look out for everyone.
Right.
Got that. But I guess with war movies, you get to see examples of that.
Yeah. Especially, war movies are a very interesting genre.
In a dark world like it is, I think we need as many heroes as we can get. So if I can see stories about heroes, if I get to hear about this little fishing captain that took his boat and saved, looked like 40 people on that little tiny vessel.
On his little boat, yeah.
Surprised it didn't sink, but he got as many.
He knew what he was doing.
That's incredible to me. That's when I get goosebumps. Because I would, if you're a good person, you do the same thing. And it's just, it's incredible. And the fact that we got to follow this.
I know it.
Follow this journey from this director's mind, and he did it in such a beautiful way and just concise, just a pure film where there's no fat. There is no fat to this flick.
And I think, looking back at a couple of the movies before this, like Interstellar and The Dark Knight Rises, like they're almost 3 hours long. And like, even though I love Interstellar to pieces, like there's some stuff in that movie that maybe doesn't need to be in it, to make it so long. But like, I do think it is an impressive thing for a director to step back. What?
Everything in Interstellar is needed.
No, okay, maybe a bad example, but like The Dark Knight.
Well, it's just because it's like 15 minutes of McConaughey's ship going through, like, but you need that because I'm there with him. Like, where are we going?
I think it's easy for a director to fall into. I mean, No Smoke to Marty Scorsese, one of my favorites. I
know where you're going with this.
He's made maybe 2 bad movies in his whole fucking career, but he makes long movies now. Like ever since like Gangs of New York, every movie he makes, I mean, maybe not Hugo, but like, he makes long fucking movies. And I think it is impressive that Nolan has made really long movies and then was able to step back for this movie and be like, I don't need all that. Like I can do this in like 100 minutes. I can do this.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's impressive.
It's like almost a 180.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not a 180 for him. It's just a different direction because this guy can go in any direction except for comedy.
Exactly. He's not much of a romantic comedic guy.
I don't know if at this point he's shown me so many new things in every one of his movies. I'm wondering what else, like, where can he go from here? Like, I'm wondering at this point after Dunkirk, I'm like, golly, like how much more new things can he show me?
Right.
As far as a storyteller, like new, different. Oh, it's just he's pretty wild at this point.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Do we have anything else to talk about with Dunkirk? I don't think so.
No, I don't think I have anything else.
I love Dunkirk.
I went back and forth on this a few times.
You about to rate this movie? You about to rate
Yeah,
this?
yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the thing about this movie. It's so, because it's short, because you're thrust right into it
Right.
without a moment, like so abruptly. This is a movie that I love showing people also.
Yeah.
Its rewatchability, because of how short it is through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
It's crisp. It's clean. I think this is a perfect movie.
Wow.
I think this is a 5-star.
Amazing. Wait. What does that translate to in letter grading for you? Is this
S plus?
Is this the mythical S plus?
Well, this is number 2 for him, because I gave Dark Knight one too.
Oh no, Dark Knight's not an S plus. You're crazy. No, this is much better than Dark Knight. I mean, fuck.
They are two completely different.
To me, this is like an A. Like that feels like I think this is an A. I love this movie so much. Like, really don't have much bad to say about it. I mean, I'm not going to go into S territory. I'm going to leave that up to you. But wow, the mythical S plus.
I saw no Heath Ledger performance in this movie. There are two different films.
He was dead. He died.
Exactly.
He died many years before. You know what I'm saying?
There are two different films there, but to me, yeah, those are two perfect films for me. I believe. Wow. Yeah. I think this movie got some hate, like not critically. Like the Rotten Tomatoes has the fan or the audience, and then the critical.
Oh well, yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah, I know you don't care about the audience at all.
No, well, I mean, I don't really care about either of them because like they don't really mean anything. But the audience one, especially, because just like some fucking guy can go on there and be like, "I hate Christopher Nolan, negative score," and like that's just like logged. You know what I mean? I don't really put any stock in that.
I know you definitely lean into more of the critically acclaimed category.
Well, I mean, the critic one doesn't really mean anything either, but whatever. I don't know. Like,
I think if you were to look at a list of movies you like, they would be more on the critical side than the audience side.
I mean, maybe, yeah, probably.
For sure. You are an artsy fartsy pal. Whereas I'm more of the, give me Captain America swinging Mjolnir.
Well, that movie got like a fucking 100% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever.
Did it really?
No, I think it got a 98. Currently, Paddington 2 is the highest rated score on Rotten Tomatoes correctly.
Man, and I gotta watch Paddington 1 and 2.
You gotta do the double header.
I'm surprised you didn't throw that as one of your movies.
Well, I haven't watched it. I don't know. Like, I haven't watched it recently. I love those movies so much.
Gotcha.
No, I watched Mitchell's There's the Machine, so I thought I'd bring it to the table. Let's put a little shine a little spotlight on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually go check that out.
You should. I think you'd like
right after I take my heart medication from this movie.
From Dunkirk, right? Yeah, you started having palpitations.
Yeah, just to reiterate, pretty much the whole thing about this movie is not for the faint of heart.
No, it's intense.
It's intense, and it's oh man, I loved it. This is my 4th time through. I loved it, man. I loved it.
I did. Yeah,
it's just so clean. It's just it's what I want from a movie.
Oh man, this movie looks so good. Anyways, let's do our other little movie segment, something that you're looking forward to, because I'm really waffling between two right now, but I've got them ready to go.
So here's my thing. This is the first one I'm throwing out there that I don't even think has a trailer.
Okay.
But I have to talk about this because Neil Blomkamp.
Oh, geez. Okay.
He did District 9. Yeah. I liked it.
He's 1 for 3 for me.
He did Elysium. I liked it. I bought it.
Elysium's all right.
Chappie was the one where
not gonna stand up for him after Chappie.
Look, there's pros and cons about Chappie. We're not getting into it here.
Chappie. What, is he making a new movie or something?
Yeah, he's got a new one coming out. It's called Demonic.
Demonic?
Yeah, Demonic. And I think it actually is a horror movie.
That makes sense. I mean, his sci-fi movies are pretty fucking gruesome anyway, so.
Yeah, but I'm excited because, Chappie's the only one where it's like, whatever. But there's still some cool parts in Chappie, so I'm not going to.
Okay.
And I like Hugh Jackman in Chappie a lot.
I like District 9 a lot, but that was about it. Like, Elysium was fine for me, but we'll see. I don't know. He's only made 3 movies, so.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. Two and a half out of 3 for me. That gets me invested in his next
Sure.
project.
Sure. All right. Well, I've decided that I'm going to get really hype. And I've decided this just in my everyday life, not even just on this podcast or this episode. I've decided that I'm going to get really fucking hype every day for Benedetta, baby. Paul Verhoeven's finally coming out with this new movie. I've been waiting for it for fucking years. He's making his
It's
horny
about
lesbian
the
nun movie.
Nun, yeah.
Fucking dying. I've been waiting for his horny nun movie for fucking like 4 years, and it's finally gotten a trailer, and it looks buck wild. I
Did
cannot
you
wait.
shared the picture?
Oh, no, the poster. That was
the
the poster. The
And
poster
it's
for this
just-
movie is just a stark white like nun with her nipple showing. Paul Verhoeven's a fucking psycho, and I love him.
What name a couple other things he's done? Was he
Oh, we're going to be doing a Paul Verhoeven.
was that Starship Troopers?
RoboCop, Starship Troopers,
RoboCop, yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
Basic Instinct, Total Recall,
Yeah.
Hollow Man. The guy doesn't miss.
We're definitely going to be doing a Verhoeven season.
Oh yeah,
for
the
sure.
only problem with doing a Verhoeven season is we have to do like 5 Dutch movies before we get to his American movies.
Have you watched those 5 Dutch?
I have
movies?
not yet. I haven't. Spetters is the only one that's like easy to find. The other 4 are like in this like fucking Paul Verhoeven box set DVD that's like hard as fuck to find. So as soon as I get my hands on, yeah, that's the only like hang up about. Maybe we'll just do like, I don't know. Maybe we'll watch Spetters and everything else. But
We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
But
but fucking-
Verhoeven is definitely going to get some love.
I love that. I mean, he's
So
always
he's got his
loved me.
he's got his horny nun movie coming
Yeah,
out.
dude,
huh?
his horny nun movie, Benedetta. I don't know when it's coming out. It just got announced that it's going to premiere at Cannes this year. So there's not like a U.S. release date or anything like that. But I've got my eyes on it because I've
Well,
been waiting for
nuns. I'm thinking Christmas, right?
I'm just imagining like a family going to the fucking theater and being like, "Well, there's that movie about the nuns," and they
No,
go,
he's gonna get
Benedetta.
so much backlash. But
Oh my god. Well, I mean, there's also he gets backlash every time he makes a movie. He fucking makes the craziest movies out there. But like, I also love the idea that there's a poster with like a fucking nun with her nipple showing, and like a bunch of bros are gonna be like, "Oh, yo, let's go see that fucking horny nun movie," and it's just gonna be the most distressing thing they've ever seen because that's all of his movies. His movies are so erotically stressful. Like, it's gonna be great. I can't wait for Benedetta.
Benedetta,
Cannot wait. B for Benedetta. That's my slogan for the year.
probably. I don't know. Probably. When do you think it's going to come out? August or something?
I mean, I don't know if it's even going to come out this year, honestly. It's just going to premiere at Cannes, so it just depends on
right.
whatever. It's already got a distributor, so like, hopefully, I mean, I would imagine if they're going to release it this year, it's going to be in like November, December, something like that.
Right.
Just right.
for
Well, right. I mean,
Christmas.
that's right before the awards, so like that's
Sure.
typically when people dump all their good movies, try to get hype for the awards.
Like Warhorse.
Yeah, well, that got a Best Picture nomination, so somehow that works, regardless of if the movie is good or not. Fucking Warhorse.
Good strategy.
God damn it, Steven. Anyways, is there anything else we got to talk about? I think that's it, right?
We're gonna do a little game.
Oh shit, I forgot about the game. We got ahead of ourselves. We can do the game. Do you want to do historical war or World War II movies? Which one? I don't know the difference, and I haven't looked at either of them. So whatever you say, we're doing, and I'm not going to really think about it. I feel like if I click on historical war, it's going to be like Captain America: Civil War, Infinity War.
No,
Like,
it will not. All right,
No,
we're
it
doing
probably won't.
historical war.
Oh God! All right. So the object of this game that we play is oh my God.
No, is it?
Oh no. Okay. No, yes and no. The object of this game is I give Brent one of the genres that Dunkirk has been categorized under, and he has to guess the top 5 grossing films in that genre. So if the movie is categorized under caper, he's got to guess the top 5 grossing capers of all time. This week, since we're doing
I'm
Dunkirk,
bad at this.
you're not. You literally get it every time.
No,
You crush it every time.
I think
Sometimes I won't even
last-
give you a hint.
Interstellar. That was bad. Bad
Okay,
news.
well, I've already given you a hint because I screamed out
Yes
loud, "Oh
and
no!" And I screamed, "Oh no!" So yeah, the genre is historical war. So the number one historical, I can't fucking believe this is in this category. The number one historical war movie.
Historical war. Now, so the way you're laughing, these got to be. It's comic books, isn't it? Is it Endgame? It's not Endgame.
No, somehow Endgame didn't make the cut. No, you know what? Actually, I take that back. All right, God, we'll start with the first one. They actually do make sense now that I'm thinking about it. It's just funny because of what I said before, but they do make sense that they're in this category. Okay, the first one is a superhero movie that came out the same year as Dunkirk.
Don't tell me this is like a Logan or like
No.
Wolverine.
No. It actually
X-Men
is.
Origins.
It actually does take place in a historical war that happened in our world. So, like,
X-Men
that is-
First Class.
No. It came out the same year as Dunkirk, 2017. It's a superhero movie. Very big hit.
Civil War.
Nope.
It's not. Okay. What's that?
Wrong branch.
Oh, Black Panther.
No, that's the same. No, it's the same company.
No, I'm not picking it up here.
The sequel to this movie just came out and everyone hated it. It's a really good movie, though. I mean, this movie is not the sequel. The sequel was bad. The sequel was very bad. Oh man, you're really floundering on this one.
Historical war. No, I think of like Braveheart. I think of Saving Private Ryan.
Well, that's number 2, so you just got one of them.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I mean, you have the right mind frame, but just think a superhero movie that takes place in that kind of setting.
It's not a Marvel, is it? Oh, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman is the number 1 historical war movie of all time.
Are you kidding me?
That's why I was laughing, man.
Wow.
Fucking funny.
World War II.
That one's
bit.
World War One.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is one.
Number 2 is Saving Private Ryan. You already kind of guessed that. Number 3 is another actual. This one is not a superhero movie. This is how to describe this? It is about a certain event that took place that like caused us to join a war.
Oh, okay. Pearl Harbor.
That's right, Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
Number 4 is Dunkirk. So look, you only got one more left to guess.
Sure. Cool.
Number 5 is another superhero movie set in an actual war.
Oh God. Captain America: The First Avenger.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct.
I can't believe that.
But you know what? Like, I'm actually going down this list. Those are the only 2 that are actually in this list. I mean, after that, you got 1917, Inglourious Bastards, Schindler's List, Fury, War Horse. War Horse is in there.
Oh, War Horse.
Yeah, War Horse, number 13 with $79 million.
People went and saw War Horse that much because it came out around Christmas.
Yeah, people went and saw the movie about the horse.
Well, it's also Spielberg. People are going to go.
I know, that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Go
Hey, your movie Enemy at the Gates, number 20.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's some Thin Red Lines in here. All right.
Which one was that one?
Thin Red Line?
Yeah.
Number 26. And then then it gets down to like shit that fuck yeah, Michael Mann's The Keep is way down at number 55. That movie's about a Jewish revenge demon. We'll cover that one eventually.
Can't wait for that one.
Can't wait to cover Michael Mann's The
Michael
Keep.
Mann.
Yeah. Can't wait to fucking do a Michael Mann season.
That'll be wild.
We'll do it. Well, I think, okay, now that you, did you want to give me a game? Do you have a game for me? Are there any actors in this movie that you know have been in other movies?
Probably
not, huh?
We'll go,
you got like 3 actors to pick from.
Right. Yeah. Barry Keoghan and Nicole Kidman.
I mean, yeah, that's just Killing of a Sacred Deer. We've already talked about it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say Mark Rylance and Tom Hanks, but...
Bridge of Spies.
Right.
Masterpiece.
Yeah.
My favorite Spielberg movie.
Oh, Harry Styles and... no, there's nothing else.
I don't think there's another one. Yeah. Harry Styles and some other guy from Under Direction.
No, you got an easy pass this week on the game.
Well, you didn't, so go fuck yourself.
Right. I think that's it for Dunkirk, though.
Yeah, no, we talked Dunkirk. We went to war where we survived. We came back.
Barely survived. My heart is still skipping a couple beats.
Well, your brain is going to be skipping a couple beats next episode because we're going to be talking Tenet.
Robert Pattinson. Can't
wait for Tenet, and that'll be the last. So, I mean, hey, man, come the next time we record.
Season finale.
Yeah, the season 1 finale. Come with your Nolan ranking prepared. Be ready to do that.
Have the database good to go.
We'll talk about our next season And
Are we going to do a reveal on the next?
I mean, it
episode?
doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't really matter because we're releasing this entire season all at once. So like, it's not like it will be building up to it. It'll just all be out there available. So if anyone wants to just go find out what our next season is, they can just skip to the end of the last episode of this season. But after that, we'll go to weekly releases. But yeah, we'll do a little reveal. I'll build up to it and we'll do a big reveal.
I'm excited.
I'm very excited. Big shift.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. My name is James.
And I'm Brent.
All right.